So PayPal is in the news for their new TOS update of basically giving themselves the right to take your money if you keep it on PayPal, which sounds like a crazy thing, but they're actually doing it, or they're actually trying to do it. And this was the kind of thing that went out that showed everyone that, they're going a little bit crazy at PayPal. You can see right here, acceptable use policy, violation of the PayPal user agreement, which is their update to their TOS, may be subject you to damages, including liquidated damages of 2,500 US dollars per violation. And what are their violations? Anything that would involve the sending, posting, publication of messages, content, or materials that, in PayPal's sole discretion, so PayPal gets to be the end all be all. They decide whether or not they want you to say that or say whatever you said or not, and then they decide are harmful, obscene, harassing, objectionable, depict, promote, or incite hatred, discrimination, protect on groups of individuals or groups based on protected characteristics, are fraudulent, promote misinformation, or otherwise unfit for publication. One big thing with this is, you can't say anything on PayPal. Like, PayPal isn't a service like Twitter, so they have to police your Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and all these other different types of social medias and decide whether or not what you say they agree with. And if they don't like it, then they're going to fine you. And it just all doesn't make any sense. And for good reason, a lot of people were pushing back on this and saying this is ridiculous, saying they're going to cancel their PayPal accounts, shut it all down. And because of that backlash, PayPal eventually said that they're not going to seize money from people for promoting misinformation or basically anything that they don't agree with. Some of the quotes from people in PayPal for when this went out was saying, like right here, an AUP notice recently went out in error that included incorrect information. PayPal was not fining people for misinformation, and this language was never intended to be inserted in our policy. So of course, somehow it just accidentally had an entire paragraph and explanation of everything that they didn't want to have included of what the fine would actually be included for. That was all a mistake. Just someone just accidentally wrote that all out, planned it out, sectioned it out, and made a fine amount, all in mistake. It just, I type out things like that all the time for no reason. So it's pretty much only a mistake because, the entire world and the internet was saying how absolutely crazy this is. And you can see them saying their team's working to correct the policy pages. Sorry for the confusion that this has caused. And obviously, the only reason they came out like this, here's the policy again, just to look at this, somebody typed out all of this, A, B, C, D, all of this stuff, sectioned it off for what everything was supposed to mean on accident. It wasn't supposed to go out. It was just an accident. But you can see scores of people noticed the pending update in recent days, and many announced on social media they would be closing their accounts. Scott Adams, a creator of Dilbert, I don't really know who that is, but he said, seriously, close your PayPal account immediately if they don't reverse this today. People are taking it even further than that now, as boycott PayPal and bankrupt PayPal are both trending on Twitter. People not happy about this, and rightfully so, because it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy that some financial institution that a lot of people have money with can just decide, I don't like what you're saying, pay me $2,500. Like you're some NFL player that broke an NFL rule. Why would you think fining people for tweets, because you can't say anything on PayPal, so they have to police your other social medias, fining people for things that you don't agree with, it just doesn't make sense. And for both those sections of the trending page where bankrupt PayPal, boycott PayPal, this is basically the sentiment of pretty much everyone there, saying PayPal just showed you what they're planning on doing. Don't believe the we're sorry mistake. I would agree. I mean, you can't make this as a mistake. You can't write an entire policy and release it and say, oh my God, we didn't even mean to write that policy. We don't even know how it got written up. Like, come on. And then it says social credits coming to America. Bankrupt PayPal now. Do this is our shot across the bow. Close your PayPal account. Do it now. So a lot of people, this is a big sentiment of closing a PayPal account, even though they walked it back. People aren't happy with it. Rightfully so. It's super weird for PayPal to say, we're going to fine you $2,500 per tweet that we don't like, which is crazy. Like $2,500 is a ton of money and to fine it for a tweet or maybe a YouTube video you don't like is just seems like a massive overstep. And a nice meme here is they fixed PayPal's bio saying PayPal championing possibilities for all until we don't like what you are saying. So that's just, they should update their bio and put that in there. We champion everything for everybody unless you don't agree with what we agree with, then we're going to take all your money. But this whole situation, everything going on in this situation with PayPal and brings up discussion of CBDCs, basically is a walking advertisement for Bitcoin, which is crazy. But, Bitcoin more relevant than ever with this news coming out. And you can see this explains it more. PayPal can change their TOS to seize your money for any reason. Any reason at all. That's what they did. That was what their update was supposed to be. They walked it back. Then the next day, they change it back so that they're not going to seize your money. You see the problem here, right? Bitcoin is the only money with any certainty, which is completely true. Bitcoin, you know exactly how many coins are going to be made every 10 minutes. You know exactly the production every day, week, month, year, the halving cycle. You know everything. And there is nothing that is going to change that. You can't change it. No one can single-handedly come up and say, we're printing more Bitcoin today, like the Fed can do with the dollar. No one can come up to you and say, we didn't like your tweets. We're taking all of your Bitcoin. If you have your Bitcoin in cold storage, no one can take it. So Bitcoin is this trustless system. And with everything going on, it wouldn't surprise me to see a bigger movement. Bitcoin already has a big movement, but even more people seeing this and saying, if this is the road that traditional finance is going down, you have to get Bitcoin. You don't have a choice. The whole thesis behind Bitcoin has always been this trustless system, don't trust, verify, and it's predictable. Doesn't change regardless of what happens. It does not change. You can't change how many Bitcoin are mined every 10 minutes, every block, every day. You can't change the halving. You can't push the halving away. You can't stop blocks from being added. It's a system that you don't need to trust someone like you do with the dollar, the Fed. You have to trust that the Fed is going to make the best decision in your interest, which we've seen isn't really the case. Jerome Powell has printed tons of money since 2020, and that skyrocketed assets. The Fed sold at the top, said, "Oh my God, we're so sorry that we bought everything before the Fed did and made tons of money." And then you see the market collapsing now on top of ridiculous inflation. So it's not only people with assets getting hammered, which is about 55% of Americans, 45% don't have assets, and you are hurting the people with assets because the market's collapsing, and you're hurting people without assets because you have 40-year high inflation. So the trust in this group of people at the Fed, not very good. They're not very good at doing their job, which is why this system that's trustless, that you don't have to have someone in charge of to tell you what is going to happen, and you just already know what's going to happen, is something I think a lot more people are going to move towards, especially if the route that PayPal just tried to go down is what other financial institutions try to go down too. So we'll see how it all plays out. It's very good that Bitcoin does exist, because if it didn't, there would be absolutely no hope in the future of being able to take yourself out of this type of system. But now you can. Bitcoin is massive. It is something that just can't be shut down now without shutting down the internet, and no one's going to shut down the internet in the entire world. So we have Bitcoin, and it's the way out. If you feel like things are going bad in the traditional system, probably have a little bit of Bitcoin there at least, so that you can have your foot out the door just in case everybody goes crazy. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. As always, remember to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.